Gives a minute. D-Live stream. Well, g'day, D-Live, and welcome back to the Gives a Minute D-Live stream for a Wednesday afternoon affair. It has just gone 2 minutes past 3 in the PM for me. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening to you, whatever the time it is, wherever you're consuming this content. You're always welcome right here on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Looking into the chit chat, I see Jason, I see Breaker Man, I see a follow. There's 2 follows there. Tynan, I see Blue Skis, I see Richard, I see 5 crew, and therefore 5 freaking cheerses, because everyone gets a cheers when they join the Gives a Minute D-Live stream chit chat. This is the glass. That's a microphone. When these 2 things touch each other somehow, somewhere in some intergalactic, stratospheric, atmospheric space planet, that represents the cheers. And I've got no idea why either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 freaking cheerses. Let me get a little swigski seas. Big swig. I just got back from a fitness walk, so I'm parched as bro. Jason says peace. Wow! Who did that?
I just
Richard.
want to tell you how it feels.
A diamond, an ice cream, and a lemon. I want to tell you how it feels. Cheers.
Jesus. Bees, is, cheese, is, needs, me's, is, leaves, is, keys, mean, things, is, wins, teas, leaves, me's, these, bees, mean, mind, water, veins.
Thank you, Richard Zantic. Much appreciation for the triple freaking give. Let me just get through the chat, then I'll welcome you to the cryptocurrency stream. Looking forward to this one. I look forward to all cryptocurrency streams every Wednesday. Jason says peace. I say peace back. Breaker Man with a follow. Yo, Breaker. Thanks for following the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Now this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now, why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Thanks for the follow, Breaker Man. Breaker Man says, Giggle Pickles keeps dropping your name. She scammed a bunch of streamers here by faking cancer. Well, that's a pretty big accusation, Breaker Man. I'm not willing to go into that today because today is a cryptocurrency stream. But if you have the facts behind your outlandish statement, I'm happy to talk about it tomorrow, but not today. Diana with the follow. Yo, Diana. Thanks for following the Gives a Minute D live stream. Now, this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now, why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D live stream. Thanks for the follow, Tiana. Tiana says, Breaker Man, you are 100% correct. See, if there's the story here, Giggle Pickles is great in my book, but if you have the story and the facts, I'm happy to discuss it. Not today, though. Blueskis, hey, g'day, Blueskis, how you doing? Richard, hey, Gives and Gives. By the way, is that drama on D Live? There's nobody on D Live. How can there be drama here? There's this many streamers and this many viewers and we got drama still? Get out of here. Hey, Gives and Givers. G'day, Richard. How you doing, man? Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Gives and chat. G'day, Blueskis. Hello, skis. Richard, I feel bad. I fell asleep on you guys the other night. Don't worry about it, Richard. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. In fact, let's knock this on its head first. I'm going to get into the cryptocurrency content, but before we do, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I want to get straight into it, but we are doing something daily on the streams here. We're drinking cranberry juice. It's a medicinal thing. It's what Richard Santic in the chat's father swears by to help nocturia, which is when you get older, when you're a male, you take a slash at night more than once, more than twice, sometimes thrice. You're up every 2.5 hours to have a slash at night. No fun. Medicinal purposes. Cranberry juice also helps this. Half a glass of cranberry juice daily is what we've been doing here on the stream. Richard Santic in the chat did PayPal me the amount of money to buy all that cranberry juice. That's why it's there, to keep me accountable. This is the one that's been in the fridge, refrigerated once we've opened it. We're doing half a cup every day on the stream. Thank you, Richard. Bottoms up to a very nice tasting beverage. I don't mind this at all. Ice cold cranberry juice. I could actually this could become a regular thing. It's quite nice. I will tell you this though. It's not doing anything. I've been peeing every night, all night. It's not making any difference. The only thing is, it's tasty. I kind of wish that was a bigger glass, to be honest. All right, so Audius. Yeah. What was that noise? Don't worry about it. Audius. Hey, by the way, before we get into Audius, just a side note, if you are watching this stream and you're not on D Live, maybe you're watching anywhere else, Facebook, could be on Facebook, could be on Twitter, could be on, you know what I should do? I should tag Audius in this on Twitter. That's a good idea. I can't, I've already gone live. Doesn't matter. Come on down to dlive.tv /hubida/gives-a-minute. This is the URL you need to follow to get down here. If you want to partake in this chat, if you're here with me, it's better. It's better. If you're over there watching and you're chatting and you're thinking, why is this guy not answering me? I'm chatting to him. I'm not seeing it. I'm only focusing my eyeballs on one chat. It's the D Live chat. It's this guy here. This is the D Live chat. You'll get to it by the URL on the screen. That's if you want to play along with me. If you just want to watch, that's cool as well. You can watch that wherever you want. Let's move in though. Audius. So I'm not a musician. I never want to be a musician. But I really enjoy playing music. I enjoy playing guitar. I've got acoustic electric and an electric, and I've got a bass these days. And I enjoy playing music. I enjoy recording music. All the spackers we have these days has helped me to be able to, get better at production. And the better production masks the inability to actually perform on an instrument. So I love it. I love making records. thing is, you can't, for a nobody like me, you can't make any money doing it. So the idea of earning coin off it is laughable. You could put it up on Spotify's and you could put it up on Apple Music, which I do. I have a distribution network called Route Note, or Route Note if you're American. And these guys take a cut off my pitiful earnings to put all my stuff out onto the internet through all the big Amazon, Apple, Spotify's, all the places you get music. My music is there. And I've had it up there for 7 years, I guess, and I've earned $8. So it's it is what it is. But I don't care because I'm not really an artist, so I don't really have a huge concern. But if somebody came along and did it better using cryptocurrency, would I be interested? You're damn right I would be. Imagine earning crypto to put your music online. Imagine earning crypto for playbacks of your music online. Now, imagine that, because that actually hasn't happened yet. You don't. So I'm going to tell you about this platform called Audius. In fact, what I'm going to do... Hey, Redox, how you doing, man? My favorite musician. Get him out of here. I'm going to give you... Because I know you're going to go over and check it, but I do have... If you sign up to Audius, even just as a listener, not as an artist, just as someone who wants to listen to cool music, if you sign up using that link in the chat, you will earn Audius token and I will earn Audius token. So before you've done anything, you've already earned crypto. Once you start engaging in the website, you earn even more crypto. And then you can go down the avenue of, hey man, I'm earning cryptocurrency and all I'm doing is listening to music. Hell yeah. Please hit that referral link because I will earn off you earning. It's a win-win. It's a wiener. It's definitely a wiener. Now let me show you what I've got lined up here because I've got a little video. I want to show you the platform. Then I want to show you this video. Here's a review from NFT William, Audius review. Then I found this rather long interview. It goes for 43 minutes, but I do want to listen to it because at this stage, you don't earn Audius token for playbacks, which really does suck the almighty whopper. The reason it sucks the almighty whopper is because every musician is complaining about Spotify raping you. Right? The playback percentages for artists is a joke on Spotify. Not a very funny one, but it's a joke. So here comes a site to do it differently. I'm going to refrain from using the term blockchain because there is no blockchain for the music, but the token is obviously crypto, so it is blockchain. I want to learn about that, but the sad thing is you don't earn the token, the Audius token, for playbacks. So in many ways, this is welcome that there is a site where artists can engage and a community can engage and listen and earn crypto. But then again, it's a gaping hole, a massively gaping hole that needs to be filled. The artist needs to be paid for playback. I really hope this long interview we've got discusses this because I've been in the Discord. I've been on Audius for quite some time. Been slowly putting up my music and I've been getting playbacks. I'll show it to you in a second. I've been on their back in the Discord. When are we going to get payback for playback? When are artists? I mean, it's all well and true to have this lovely website and this cryptocurrency that you've got, your Audius token, and all this is great. But yet you're still not paying artists. You're still, to be frank, they're still raping artists like Spotify. So the reason I'm telling you about this today is because there is a campaign. It's been running for a little while now. The campaign is to allow you to earn some Audius. There is ways to earn. It's a bit sketchy. You got to do remixes and you got to be in the top 100 playbacks. And hey, When I first saw mp3.com in the year 2000, I was in Canada. I was in a very good place in my life, and the person I was with was a musician, and she was earning royalties, literal physical paychecks. I saw them mailed to her from mp3.com. She'd open this check up and show me, and I'd be like, what's that for? She's like, that's for having my music on their website. What are you talking about? She's like, I uploaded my EP to their website and I get paid for it. Like, what? It's like, yeah, this is how music works. That was in the year 2000. So, and by the way, that was she was making quite a good coin off that. I don't know where, I mean, the site mp3.com still exists, but it's nothing what it was. But in the gap, I guess Napster came and ruined everything. I don't know. But either way, artists get absolutely shunted right now. And I'm, like I said, I'm not a musician, so I don't really care. But it would be pretty rad because I am clocking in the views or the listens on this site. And I'm still not earning anything from it. If I was a musician and relying on that, I'd be spewing. I'd be like, why would I put my shit up there? Why would I go and do that if I'm still not earning? They're already not paying me on Spotify. Why would I go to another place that's not going to pay me? And then people were I asked that very question in the Discord. People were saying, well, maybe you should build your community. And I'm like, I don't want to build a community. I'm a musician. I've got my music. I would like to be paid when someone listens to my music. That's all. I don't care for building an online community. I care for playback for payback, which is what all the artists, it seems like, I'm getting a little wound up here, but it seems like all the artists are okay to argue about that when you're talking about Spotify or Amazon Music or Apple. But the moment you start having the exact same argument against a startup and it's crypto based, oh, you should be helping. You should be starting to build your community and getting in on the ground level. And, you know, they've got overheads. It's like, dude, you're exactly the same as Spotify, except that you're blockchain based. And I use that term lightly because, like I said, I don't know how your music is on a blockchain. It just gets uploaded to a server. But anyway, let's move in and have a little look-ski at the website known as Audius. Now I'm going to use my Brave browser for this because I am obviously logged in. So this here is not the Brave browser, but this is my. So if you do hit my link, let me tell you one more time here in the chat, folks. This is my in the chat, and that's why you got to be on DLive too, because that chat won't come up on YouTube. Bamskitty, that link there will earn you, quite literally, by signing up, you will earn the token, and I will earn the token, Audius token. When you do get there, you'll come to my, can you guys see that? Yeah, it's not that large, is it? Let me, how does it scroll? Oh, quite well. It's a very responsive website. That's cool. So what we've got here, folks, this is quite literally my latest album. My artist name is That's So if you're wondering what the hell that is, that's when I record music, I go by the name That's Now I have uploaded all of my albums here, and you can order these from recent or popular. So if I choose recent, my most recent, so these are uploaded in order. If we scroll right down, my very first thing I ever did, 26 tracks, a collective roller coaster, or maybe just a coaster. That's what I chose to call it. Then my second album, Too Many Spackers. Then my third album, A Curious Arrangement. These are all, like, this goes back, this actually goes back, by the way, in the year 2000 in Canada. I got inspired by I got inspired by this person. It's another story. And I started recording music. First song I ever recorded was their, first song Umnus had recorded, but that's right there in Canada. It's on that album. Then we move forward to more recent times. 1,000 Layers of Umnus. The second Umming. Then I did a covers album, 10 Other Songs by Ween, which is actually 10 songs that I've chosen. Then I did my next album, The Armageddon, which I promoted here on DLive. Duncan features on that album. Then I did another covers album from 10 more songs by Ween. I did 20 tracks that time, to be silly. Then I went stupid, absolutely stupid, and I covered the entire Wham album, Make It Big. So if you're interested in seeing what this nutter has done with that, again, in the chit chat, I'll pop it, pip it, pop it, slap it one more time. Hit that link, sign up, get the free Audius token, and start down listening to my music for free, and you'll start earning. And you can hear me do all of the Wham album, Make It Big, and then most recently, my current album, Multiple Organisms. So, what I was going to show you here is I've got 43 followers on the site. These people follow me. Toke God, Hassan Chat, Adore, Lo-Fi Radio, Panda Slugger, Leslie, and etc, etc, etc. I follow 42 people. That's an interesting number. 178 tracks. Now, on the left-hand pane here, claim rewards. So this is where you connect your Metamask wallet and you start... See, I've got 2 audio tokens. Only 2. Yet, if you go back to my music, and if we go order the tracks by popular, my most popular track is called Chris and Catherine. I didn't know that. That's had 167 plays. Then Alan Jones, 128 plays. Then a Sleep Talk. Is it Ethereum or Binance? It's Ethereum. It's Ethereum. Even a little. These are, so what I'm saying is these tracks here, 81 plays, 64 plays, 61 plays, 46 plays, 43 plays, 40 plays, 36 plays. Total number of plays, I guess that doesn't come up. Total number of plays? I guess we can't. Is there a stats page? These are the notifications. Statses. Artist dashboard. So to claim your rewards, you need to pay a massive gas fee. Exactly. You wouldn't want to be doing anything with 2 Audius tokens. So this is my stat. Okay, I've had 640 plays. 1 person has reposted my music. 43 followers. These are my public tracks. I've got no hidden tracks that I know of. No, I do not have hidden tracks. They're all public. And I guess you can organize these. Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow. My most played track. That's not right. Well, that just made a liar out of it. Don't know why it does that. But anyway. Oh, that's probably from a certain time period. Okay, cool. So back to the claim rewards. I can claim 2 Audius tokens. See, it says I've earned 1 here from uploading tracks. Invite your friends. So none of you have clicked that link. I've given you this link. Hey Jason, how you doing, man? How you doing, buddy? I've given you this link and not one of you have clicked it yet. Thanks. I'm giving you free Audius token. All you gotta do is click it. I'll earn 1 audio for you and you'll earn 1. Look, invite your friends. Invite your friends. You'll earn 1 audio for each friend who joins with your link, and they'll get audio too. They'll get an audio. So no one's done it yet. Thank you very much, you lovely specimens. I've got the mobile app. There's a phone app. I've got that. So I got the Audius for that. Link your verified accounts. Link your Twitter and whatnot. Now that's a little sketchy. Watch this. By getting verified on Audius by linking your verified Twitter or Instagram account. Watch this. If I go verify the account, it says here, your Audius handle must exactly match the verified handle you're connecting. That's garbage. How many artists, like I've got a Twitter account for Gives a Minute, but I don't use Twitter for that so that's not going to work. So, and I don't have a Instagram. So that sucks, but anyway. So that's the Audius rewards. Now, the cool thing about this site is it's got music on it. So let's have a look at some of the favorites that I've found recently. Check this. This thing, tell me, this is called Perfect OK. It's by an Indian artist called Hello PJ. Check this out. It's cool, huh? Hey, Charlotte Rose! Spacebar to pause. Spacebar to play. Hello, Charlotte. How you doing? Go ahead and sign up to Audius using my referral link. You'll earn Audius token, and you can enjoy cool tunes such as this one here called Perfect OK from Hello PJ. It's cool, isn't it? I found that particularly interesting. Not many other people liked it. It's only had 163 plays, but there's one above it here I've favorited by an artist called The Turtle Project. Upside Down. This has had 2.49k plays. Oh shit, it's loud. It's a bit loud. Hey, Blubber Bob, how you doing, man? How you doing, buddy?
So many days just like I'm ready for winding down. I shout out in fits of rage just as I'm chilling out. I got loose change falling out my pocket. I feel strange tonight. I can't walk straight. I've lost my balance now. I'm taking flight, and I'm upside down. I'm the wrong way around. I'm upside down.
So I don't want to play too much because you can go and investigate yourselves, but what we're seeing here, we're seeing CC in the chat. We're seeing Coin Captain. How you doing, man? I was trying to think how I could better slide that in. How you doing, man? Good to see you. And Blubber Bob, good to see you too, my friend. What I've got for you, we're looking at the platform Audius. I've got a referral link. If you sign up to Audius as a viewer or just as a listener, or if you want to make your music and put it up there, if you use my referral link that I popped in the chit chat right there, you'll earn Audius token. You'll earn a single token just for signing up using that referral link. I'll earn one as well. It looks like someone's done something. I've got a notification here. Rob Mac followed. Did Rob Mac sign up?
Mayonnaise! Wow!
Mayonnaise! Wow! Thank you, CC. Cheers, man. Did Rob Mac sign up? Does that mean Mr. Bungle? Hey. I'm going to give you a little follow too, my friend. There you go. So there we go, folks. This is how you do it. This is Audius. Now, if you, it's got a little player here on the bottom. I guess you can't see that because it's underneath my alerts, but if I drag that up, there's a little mobile player there that sits at the bottom of the bar here. And so you can click on the Discover tab and go the feed. You can go your following feed if there's an artist that you're following. Trending. So these are the ones that earn the Audius token, the trending ones. I don't want to play I'll play one from the alternative genre. A lot of it's just well, I'm more into the guitar-based music, but a lot of it's not. Let's pick one at random. And by the way, if I made a playlist, I could share that playlist with Rob Mack. Pretty cool. Let's take a listen to this.
I've been eating ramen, got nothing in common, but you won't stop calling. I never make my bed, but you don't seem to mind, 'cause I still let you in it.
So what you're hearing there is some interesting music, right? I don't know if you hear this anywhere else. I'm pretty reluctant to play too much of it because I am on YouTube, but I'm liking this site. Get into it. Start stacking your Audius tokens. You can earn by doing different things, watching and listening. Let me just do a quick search for, I do have a Weezer track in my favorites here. I won't play it, but you can see here, I guess that, well, yeah, so Weezer are on here. They got a song here from the Wave Break film. They haven't got an album yet, but they've put up, and I would assume that this is the actual band. I don't think this would be a troll making an account just under the name Weezer. Let's do a search for, say, I don't know, let's do Sonic Youth. I'm wearing their t-shirt. Let's see if they've got anything up on here yet. They do not. Okay, let's do a search for the other greatest band ever to have existed, Ween. There is a band here called Ween. Interesting. See, this won't last, will it? Wow, they chose the name Ween. Okay, so what'll happen is when Ween wants to come on Audius, they'll populate that properly, I guess. What's this notification? Jason followed me, and Dean Street. Did I follow Dean Street? I don't think I followed Dean Street. I'll follow Jason. There you go, folks. This is how it works. This is how it works. Here are some accounts that vibe well with Jason Olbein. How do they know that? I guess I'll follow them all. And once again, you can all come in and take a listen to all of my music here under the albums. I don't have any playlists yet. I could make a playlist from my favorites. I guess I could turn that into a playlist, couldn't I? I don't know how to yet, but no favorite albums yet in my feed. So that's me. You got your little links here. I've got a link to Twitter. I've got a link to DLive, and I've got a link to a PayPal address. So you can do that in your own section.
Steak?
Money's too tight for steak.
Steak?
Yo, Vinod, dropping a $20 super chat on YouTube. Thank you, Vinod. I'm gonna do this for you, Vinod. I see the number over there on YouTube. Thank you very much for the super chat. That's very kind of you. I beg you, come down here to this URL, dlive.tv/givsaminutes. If you're on YouTube right now, and you must be because you just dropped a super chat, come on down, because I'm not seeing the chat on YouTube. I'm only looking at this chat here on DLive. I'd love to have your conversation. You just donated to me, so I'd love to hear you talk in this chat here. Be great for you to come on down. Appreciate the donation. It's very kind of you. I'm trying to bring people over to DLive and then push them onto Audius. Not really, but just today we're doing a cryptocurrency stream. We're looking at Audius. So please come on down here. Thank you once again for the super chat. Very kind of you. So this is another notification. Flowski, hey Flowski, how you doing? I'll give you a little follow back. So now we're building our little network. And by the way, I always had in the back of my mind, if things went belly up on DLive where we couldn't do cap games, I've always said I had a backup plan. The backup plan is to use Audius as the music source. Now, it could be hit and miss. There could be some really bad crap on there. But with enough of us finding the good stuff and sharing playlists, we'd be able to siphon through that. It might even be a thing we should do anyway, because we're going to earn Audius. Right now, you can earn Audius just by listening to one track. Check this out. Listening streak. Listen to one track a day for 7 days to earn one Audius token. So I've done it today. So, oh, by the way, just by completing your profile, you also earn an audio token. So you can click the trending, and then you can just go trending tracks and take a look what's trending. Oh, that was trending. Shit, yeah. Well, that one we just earned one of our 7 songs. All you got to do is come back in once a day for 7 days, and then you've earned 1 audio token just by listening to 7 new songs. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Lava Man, I would use Spotify. This is what I'd say to Spotify. Not to you, to Spotify. That's only because I'm not an artist, but Spotify absolutely they suck, right? We all know they pay artists jack shit. Now, I know I've explained that Audius don't pay for playback, so they're paying artists worse than jack shit, but it's something. My hopes and aspirations are that this site, Audius, ends up paying artists for playbacks. It's a shame that they don't. But let me just add my little referral link one more time for you, Lava Man, right there. Charlotte Rose followed as well. Charlotte Rose, you signed up too, so you also earned an Audius token. Let's have a look at the notification. There it is, Charlotte Rose. Let's give a follow back. So when you come into my profile, folks, thank you, Charlotte, you little specimen. You will see that's You will see this is my page. It'll look a little smaller because I've zoomed it right in, but you'll be able to go to albums. You'll be able to change this bar here from sort by recent or sort by popular. If you choose recent, you'll get my most recent album up top, which is Multiple Organisms. Scroll down, you'll see my covers album from, I covered the entire Wham! Make It Big album, and I called it Make It Then I've got a covers album from 10 songs by Ween, or 20 songs by Ween. My originals album, one of my original albums. 10 other songs by Ween, cover songs. Original album, The Second Umming. Original album, 1,000 Layers of Umness. Original album, A Curious Arrangement. Original album, Too Many Spackers. And my first ever effort into solo music from the year 2003, this came out, A Collective Roller Coaster. That's what you'll see when you get into my profile. And then you can, once you start playing, if you start playing, it changes here. So you get your little, you can go and choose whatever song you want to hear. And the little bar plays over here. So then you can so let's pick a better cruisy song. More by that song. I wanted to go back to the album. Let's just play this, I guess. So while that's playing, hey, who did this? Rob Mack favorited it. Thanks, Rob Mack. I'll just turn this down. So while tunes are playing, you can still navigate the site. You've always got this little permanent bar here on the side. You can go and choose other music. Click onto a new track, off it plays. It's for free, Lava Man. Yes, it is. It's for free. All these music. Oh, I'll give you the link another time, Lava Man, because I want you to all come across. Sign up. If you sign up using that link, you'll earn 1 Audius token just by signing up. Then you can start claiming rewards by partaking daily in different music and whatnot. Go to the trending tab. Check out. Oh, this guy followed me. This guy followed me before. Dean Street.
Been kind to me.
Turn it up a little bit.
Intimate pictures close.
This guy followed me earlier, so now we follow each other.
If you hold the 7 seas, why is this storm surrounding?
Sounds nice.
My vessel's made of leaves.
Let's have a look at Vlamp. Oh yeah, this is sounding good. Hell yeah, this sounds rad. Okay, it did. Okay, you lost me there. You almost had me though. Sounded rad at the start. The Nelson Hendricks School. Sounds cool. This guy looks like Daniel Johns. Sounds cool. So how about this? How about this? If you've just followed me and you find cool music on Audius, make a playlist and share that playlist with me. And then we'll come in and take a listen sometimes. Maybe on a cap game before we start a cap game, or afterwards we'll kick in and start listening to Audius music. That's how the site works though. I appreciate that you've come over and followed me. I'm going to refresh it. By the way, there is an app which you can also install on your phone or on the desktop. So you get an app that plays the same setup basically, and you can free run it. I'm running it through the browser right now, but you can run the app on the phone or on the desktop. Awesome stuff. But let's take a look at this video. This is an introduction to the platform. My only gripe with it at this stage is they don't pay artists for playback. That sucks because neither does Spotify.
The way that I see it, the streaming of music and NFTs and the blockchain technology that we're seeing today are going to be one and the same. Hey guys, it's Will. Welcome back to another video. In this one, really excited to go over a platform that's been getting a lot of attention. Hopefully you guys are having a great day today. And if you have been following the NFT music industry at all, you've probably heard of this platform called Audius. It is kind of a gray area streaming platform compared to most other NFT music platforms I talk
A gray area
about. It's a great platform as far as the algorithm, posting music for free, the quality of the music, and then also having your profile available and people going and finding your music. It's a good platform for that, but it's not really decentralized. I mean, if you post music there, it is not on the blockchain. It is
that's what this is what I was saying. This is what I don't really understand about it yet. Like, I don't get the fact that they don't pay artists, and the fact that it's not on the blockchain. It's sort of like, that might have been why he called it a gray area. It's not quite well defined what it actually is.
Not available on the blockchain. It's not minted. You can't find it. However, I want to go over what this platform has in the long term, and if it's going to be something that you want to use, and if you want to get some good out of it, what you can do for that, and then some of the bad that you might have to watch out for. The great part about Audius is that they reward some of their users with crypto.
Some of their users. Doesn't that suck that he had to say it that way? Like I said, it seems like it's okay for an artist. I'm not a musician, I'm not an artist, but it's okay for musicians and artists to sledge off Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon for not paying properly for playback. The moment someone starts talking against something like this, which is what I've been doing in their Discord, you get all kinds of argumentative disagreements. Oh, why don't you spend all your time promoting your music instead of talking about how you can't earn here on this brand new platform because monetization is coming? I'm like, well, until monetization is there, what is the difference between this and the Spotifys that we all slag off? It's blockchain. Well, it's not blockchain. Your music goes onto a server. It's not. You're not minting NFTs here. It's just you're providing. It's a loose connection to a blockchain. It's tokenized cryptocurrency, which you don't even earn for uploading your content. It's bizarre. It's like the music industry is so screwed. It's been so disgustingly punished for so long that even when someone makes something that looks slightly different, and maybe it's got a glimmer of hope, you're not allowed to say anything negative about it. You can't critique it. You can't say anything bad about it because, well, it's got to be better than Spotify. I'd argue that this actually isn't better than Spotify right now. It has the potential to be way better, but right now, For artists, well, this is probably why you don't see, like, we just typed in Sonic Youth and Ween. Okay, Weezer are over there with one song, possibly some licensing deal that went on in the background, kind of like, you know, getting PewDiePie to stream on DLive for a certain amount of time. Could be the same kind of thing, right? If they started if you said, yeah, man, all artists now earn for playbacks, of course you'd have the big artists over here. You'd have the Metallicas and stuff at some point. Might take Lars a little while, but at some point, right? But yeah, it sucks that he had to phrase it that way. They reward some of their artists.
The part about Audius is that they reward some of their users with crypto. So you're going to see that the artists that have made a song that's in the top 5 are going to get paid some of the native audio coins.
You got to be in the top 5 to earn. Well, that ranks me out for a lot. That ranks me out forever. I'm never going to get in the top 5 of anything for my music. You know what I would get in? I'd get in the top 5 of persistence. Persistence over time. I'd clean that category up. Hey, I've been doing it for that long. Constantly getting a lousy result and being persistent, you win, dude.
So when you are
Let me just see that again.
The artists that have made a song that's in the top 5 are going to get paid some of the native audio coin. So when you are an artist that's kind of having some success on the platform, you're going to get paid out some crypto for your music. I posted some music on Audius and found that I really like their algorithm. I got some great plays. Also, a lot of people.
Cali Dojo. While you're here, Cali, I'm going to be giving you a little follow skis. Let's find Cali Dojo. Cali Dojo. Here we go. Let's give him a follow skis. Let's take a look what Cali's got. He's got albums? No albums, just tracks. Oh, one track. We Should Light Up Candles. Want to have a listen? Let's take a listen to Cali. This is the guy we're watching. I have one song right now. If you like it, then drink water. That's cool. Artist from Northern California, heavily influenced by One Republic and Kanye West. Okay. Loves his auto-tune. I'm drinking to this. Drink of water. This is really cool. This would be really, really nice without that auto-tune. I'm going to favorite that. Did you get audio coins for the? I imagine that would have to go overnight. I'll refresh it, but I'd imagine that because it's blockchain, it would take a while for the. I'm assuming that it would come through overnight. Nice. Very cool. Well, why don't you all give him a follow as well, folks? Go ahead and follow Cali Dojo. We'll just pause that. You got audio coin for signing up already? Let me just see. Let me refresh my page. Should come up here. It says 3 of you. 3 audio. Oh, it says claim your reward here. So what I'll do, I won't do that yet. There's 2 more of you that can do that, folks. There's 2 more invites. Let me put the link back in the Chisel chat. Go ahead and sign up, folks, using my referral, and you will earn Audius, and I will. Bamskis. And Kali Dojo. Go ahead and follow Kali Dojo as well. You can find Kali Dojo, if you go through my feed. Oh, I can repost. Ah, of course. Then let's go Buck. Let me repost this. Is that a share or over here? Add to playlist. Add to playlist. Okay. This is going to be my new playlist, folks. Playlist created. This is going to be private playlist? No, I want it to be public. Make public. I'll just... What am I going to call this playlist? I found music. I found this. I found these musics to be good. I'm going to add... Uh-oh. Really? No, it just collapsed. The site just went, whoopsie. That sucks. Oh, shoot. That's no good, folks. Refresh. Is my playlist still here, though? It is here. It didn't save. Okay, let me just... I found these musics to be good. And I will make this... Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add my... Oh, here. My favorites. I've got Perfect Okay. Add this to my playlist. Okay, so there's my playlist. I'm going to put Perfect Okay up top. Make this public. So now when you go to my page, when you come onto Audius and go to That's here's a playlist. I found these musics to be quite good. 2 tracks, Perfect Okay and We Should Light Up Candles by Kali Dojo. That's how you can find both of those guys. Perfect Hello PJ and Kali Dojo. So we give Kali Dojo a little help there. Yeah, here he is. Let's continue. Quite good, Kali.
Followed me and even retweeted my song or reposted my song. So that was great. And I thought, hey, this has some potential. So I do think it's good for the algorithm.
Do you know what it needs? Comment sections. Why can't we leave him a comment? I guess that's coming.
Gets you some exposure. Not only is it available and easily found by others with the algorithm, but you also have that chance to make some crypto and maybe get paid if you have a song that's doing really well. So that's something that I would say is a huge advantage and brings value to artists. As someone that's really passionate about blockchain technology and music, I'm just glad that this platform was made, and I hope that it can definitely bring some more to the industry.
I wonder why they don't pay everybody. Like, it's algorithmic, right? So if you only get, like, I've only got 130 players or whatever, so therefore I would earn 0.00000000001 or whatever, like less than a Satoshi. Why can't that be the case? Yeah, that sucks.
Want to post your music, then you'd have to log on to a computer. It's pretty standard, I guess, for most streaming, but maybe that is something that could be a little bit of a hassle for some people if they don't have a computer or a laptop. I know that I film all my videos on my phone, actually, and I edit them on my phone, so I have a computer. It's not a big deal. But I know a lot of people rely heavily on phones now, so that's something that's going to affect almost anyone that's posting NFTs as well, so I guess it's hand in hand. Now, as far as the platform giving the artist the crypto, I haven't really been too impressed with that crypto that they give out. I believe that investments we make in life should be based on what we see value in. And the problem with this coin is that it's been part of what we see as pump and dumps. Pump and dumps are the process of a lot of people going and buying something simply because everyone else says, hey, you know, come over here, let's go buy this.
And that's what I was saying before. They're not doing anything different, and they're not giving value to the artist. So in this regard, they're worse than Spotify.
It's not because it's valuable. It's not because there's a certain announcement that happens. A lot of times when there's a lot of volume.
See, lots of crew made money off Audius, but they weren't artists, is my point. The artists got shunted yet again under the disguise of blockchain tech, new website, put your music on it, but everybody else. But so to make the money, you've got to buy the token. You don't get it for being an artist. Anyone can buy it, and then you traded it. And that's where it pumped and dumped and pumped and dumped. And the artists are still sitting there going, well, we're still making music. We're still not getting paid. Great. Awesome.
Volume of people going and investing in one thing, it's a dangerous investment, and people lose money very fast when they invest in pump and dumps. Some people make money, but then when one person sells that has a lot of the shares, you know, that pump and dump is going to drop significantly. And as more people sell, a lot of people are going to miss out on making money and probably lose a lot of money in the process. If you do get their tokens, the volatility of holding those tokens is very questionable. So I would definitely keep an eye on that.
But then again, Kelly Dojo, that's the same with any crypto. Fair point, noted, but not, shouldn't be the reason not to. I mean, he's obviously using it as well. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Kelly Dojo. I get you.
The only thing that's crypto about this platform at all is the fact that they have their token that they've made for their platform. Overall, streaming looks good. The algorithm's nice. Little bit of troubling setup with their token, but I do like the fact that they're trying to reward their users because, as I said, guys, blockchain technology and music are going to be one and the same very soon. And if we don't see it on this platform, you know, if there's not someone that's trying to make it happen in the industry and make that technology, then we're not going to see that at all. So I'm just glad that it's existed. So I went and
I agree. I agree with him there. It's a shame that this platform, Audius, didn't come out fully swinging and embracing this. They went half in, and that could be their downfall. That could be why it doesn't quite take off mainstream success, or at least mainstream adoption, and then success later on. Because, like I said, try to get an artist to come over here, the first thing they'll say is, how do we get paid? You can't. You got to be in the top 5. Huh? What? Okay, forget about it. Not going to pay me? Not interested. Yeah, but you're interested in Spotify? Yeah, because everybody's on Spotify, so you have to be. Well, not everybody. Neil Young
posted some music there recently, and I will say that their algorithm is great. The way that they have set up their algorithm is more exposure than most platforms. But I was kind of caught off guard about it because, you know, there's a bunch of people that are saying, oh, look at this NFT music platform. Here you post your music as NFTs. But it's not actually an NFT music platform. It's just a music streaming platform. There are some places where you can post your music where it's very clear that it is in fact on the blockchain, like SoulSea or OpenSea, or if you go on SoundXYZ and get approved to post there, or even if you use Vaults, which is a platform that you can put your NFT music in a vault and a bunch of other characteristics and advantages. There's catalog.works, and then there's foundation.app, and these are all places where you can post your NFT music, and I'll leave the links to those down in the descriptions.
Now, to be fair to Kali Dojo, I don't know those other sites and I haven't really investigated them. I'm not really interested in doing it, to be completely frank. I still have Rootnote that do my distribution to all the other main platforms. The idea of adding that some material to Audius in addition, because don't forget, those exact albums are available to purchase on Spotify and on Apple Music and Amazon and all the places. The difference being the difference being, sorry, there's someone right at my door here. There are holidaymakers next door, but they're right at my door.
I just want to tell you how it feels.
Just want to tell you how it feels. It feels a little frightening. Thank you, Blub de Bum. Okay, they've gone. Thank you, my friend. Solana makes 100% in the next 4 months.
Mayonnaise! Wow! Wow!
Mayonnaise! That's a triple freaking give, my friend. What?
Jesus. Bees, ease, cheese, ease, needs, me's, e, leaves, keys, mean, things, these, wins, teas, leaves, me's, these, bees, mean, mind, water veins.
Solana making 100% in the next 4 months. Dude, this just in. If you have your hex stakes, I don't know if you're Blubber Bob, I don't know if you're a hexagon or not, but if you do and you haven't claimed your Hedron, you should have, or you should do it. That thing's pumped 89% over the day. I'll talk about that later, but if you do have some hex stakes and you're not claiming your Hedron, you should be at this stage. We'll talk about that later. I just got side confused. Side confused? Yeah, confused on the side. Just this side because of the outdoors.
So you guys can check those out, as well as a video where I review some of those platforms. I hope that this video helped you to kind of see a little more about the NFT music space. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in music NFTs, make sure to subscribe. If you made it this far, then let's go ahead and comment with the guitar emoji today. I think that the guitar is great. You know, there's some guitars behind this camera right now. I think that deserves a comment. If you made it this far, if you enjoyed the video, just put the guitar. If you didn't enjoy the video, then make sure to put the guitar, bass, but also a reason why you think this video could be better or
put a broken guitar.
Improve. If you guys have any video topics that you'd like me to cover, make sure to leave them down in the comment section so I can get to them and make some videos that you want. I really appreciate the feedback because it helps me to kind of cater the content to you guys. And if you have any questions about certain things that we cover in the videos, then make sure to leave a comment down below as well, because
what a nice guy.
Can help me to make future videos and make them more detailed and hopefully bring you more value in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Love you all. Peace.
That's cool. That was cool. His name's Will Smith. That was cool. I appreciate it. That channel, by the way, I'll give you a link to that channel if you want it. That's NFT William is the channel name. Hey, Fleeksky, I'll put the link in the chat here for you if you want to go and follow him on YouTube. Fleeksky, been lurking for a few. G'day, man. How you doing? Why would an artist want to get paid in crypto? Most like cash. I mean, whether you like it or not, crypto is here and it's here to stay. Now, how that gets mainstream adoption and how that becomes just as acceptable as, I guess, credit cards and whatever when they first got introduced, it might take a while. But it is here. It's not going away. Whether you want to be paid in crypto or not, the opportunity to be paid, period, should exist. And that's probably more what this, like, that's what this situation or this app is fulfilling. Because as it stands right now, most artists gets paid in cash, right? Yeah, most artists gets paid in cash. Definitely through Rootnote, my main distribution for my material, gets paid in cash. All $7 worth for the last 8 years. But if they said, would you rather be paid in a crypto of your choice? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But good point. Fair point. Relatively fair point. Ask that same question again in like a couple of years and I'll tell you it's not a fair point. But at the moment, it's still a fair point. But it is changing. Speaking of changing, folks, that there is my referral link. If you want to sign up to Audius, there's only 2 more slots available to... Actually, I wonder what happens if more than 5 people would hit that link and sign up. We'll find out. Tell you what I want to do, though. We do have this rather long interview here. It goes for 40 minutes. I guess it's with the guys from the team of Audius. I'm really interested in listening to this and seeing if they do talk about the potential for payback for playback coming soon. So I'm going to go and grab a coffee and I'll come right back and we'll get into the meat and bones. It's by a channel called Paul Barron Network. I'll be right back. Oh, I thought that was spam in the chat, Bobdy Bum. What is that? BTC USD, ETH USD, IOTA USD, Litecoin USD. What's going on with that? What did you put that there for? I just use this because I can analyze this on MetaTrader 4 from Crypto Rocket. Crypto Rocket. Richard had to split. Have a good evening, everyone. I'm out of here. 12:05 Eastern Time. No worries, Richard. Have a good sleep. Catch those Z's. Good to see you. That looks like this. What is that? Okay, I don't know what you've done there, Bobdy Bum. Let me have a quick look. What is that? What have you got there, dude? Oh, this is your charting. Okay, so you're charting them all. Yeah, okay, fair enough. All right, well, let's move on, folks, and let's take a look at the NFT No, that's what we just watched. This here, Audius interview, audio streaming for the metaverse. For the metaverse? Come on.
All right, diving in today to another token that really kind of is in a position to reformat how you might listen to music and podcasts and all sorts of things in the future. But when you think audio in the blockchain, you have to think of a project called Audius. Today, we're going to dive in deep. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Joining me, of course, is one of the co-founders and chief product officer over there, and that is Forrest Browning. Great to have you on the show today, Forrest.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Cool,
yeah,
cool,
excellent.
Cool. Hey, he's got KRK rockets right there. That's a 7. We've got the same monitors.
So I've been a longtime fan of Audius. We actually did a breakdown on your project early last summer when you guys were still just kind of getting broken out into where I think a lot of people knew and started to understand what Audius was. But tell me a little bit about where you guys...
Flowski, he needs a better camera. Forrest does. The presenter's got a great setup. Got a little, looks like, oh, did you guys see the Apple announcement? Mac Studio. We'll talk about that tomorrow, but wow. Yeah, he's got a MacBook Pro. He's got the same one I've got. That looks like spam. That confused me, Bob DeBum, what you did there. I was like, what is that?
You guys have come since last summer. What kind of, first of all, kind of give us a rundown on what Audius is to our audience, and then also some of the key achievements that you guys have been doing over the past few months.
Yeah, absolutely. So Audius, at a high level, is a decentralized music streaming platform. So it lets artists
decentralized music streaming platform.
Talk directly to their fan base, get direct analytics.
Whoa.
So it lets artists talk directly to their fan base.
Did I miss something? How do you talk directly to your fan base on Audius? There's no communication. There's no... I get notifications. Decentralized like DLive. That's why I asked the question, dude. I'm like, wait a second. How are you defining decentralized? You can't communicate with anybody here aside from making a playlist. Or can you? Can I have a chat with Kali Dojo? Fleek's laughing. You find that funny? Yeah. Aside from hitting his links, maybe they're adding features like a Twitter-like feed. I hope they do. I really do. Get
direct analytics, stats about where they are geographically, their interests, and then also have high-quality free streaming at a level that isn't available anywhere else across the internet. So what's interesting about Audius is we look and feel to most of our user base as a normal, almost Web 2 sort of streaming service. It's very easy to use. You can sign up using an email and a password. And what's interesting is we have a lot of features that are enabled by Web 3. But at the end of the day, you don't have to know about that Web 3 complexity. You don't have to know about even using Metamask or Phantom or whatever else wallet you happen to self-custody. All of that can be abstracted away so that you, as the end user, can use a normal website. You can come to Audius, create an account, upload your favorite tracks, listen to your favorite artists, engage, participate in remix competitions. There's a whole kind of social graph and social network, almost similar to how SoundCloud used to be back in 2012, 2013, sort of kind of the golden era of that UGC music streaming service. I think that's what Audius hopes to reignite and capture. and then longer term, hopefully, kind of helping monetize that in kind of new and exciting ways, a lot of which could be powered by Web3, including NFTs and others.
Ooh, interesting. So therefore, the music will exist on a chain. Interesting. I wish SoundCloud didn't go downhill. I used to like it. I never touched it. I never touched SoundCloud.
All right, so when I think about really where Web3 is going, you look at just the scenarios we've seen here recently with Joe Rogan and what's happening on Spotify. You've got a lot of scenarios that are starting to play into the whole aspect of creators, even to a certain extent, that want to have more control of their own content, and hence the ability to be able to publish and or stream and or release their content and be able to get that kind of benefit from that. Explain to me how creators, and also this could be brands, obviously labels, and then individual creators in the indie side of things as well. How would they interface with an Audius, or would they?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's pretty exciting. We've seen adoption of the Audius platform across essentially every level of artists. We've got the bedroom producers, the up and coming kind of hip hop producers, the bedroom DJs. But at the same time, we also, on the other end of that bell curve, have the top tier folks. So we've got Skrillex, Weezer, Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park, Deadmau5, Diplo, a whole bunch of hip hop and electronic acts that are using Audius as well.
Now, I wonder if they were contracted across. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it would be nice to have that disclosure. We contracted Weezer to put that track up exclusively for X amount of Audius token, right? Flowski, I also looked into Bandcamp years ago. Not sure how it's doing these days, except it's getting bought out by a gaming company. I used to have a Bandcamp, and then I decided to pull that down. I got rid of it. The reason I got rid of it was because I was using RootNote to send all my music out everywhere, and having another, like, if you can go and buy multiple organisms on Apple Music, then buy it there. Why should you then also have it on Bandcamp with a different payment system? I just wanted to make it easier for me and for everybody else. Not that everybody's looking for my music, but you know what I'm saying. Probably Fleek, you reckon I'm hitting something there that they were paid to come on? I mean, it's nothing wrong with that, but it would have been nice to have had that disclosure.
And I think that's because at the end of the day, there's kind of this larger zeitgeist of artists knowing their fan base and owning that fan base. And I think we're starting to see that with Web3 is this disintermediation historically from your fan base that has really made you somewhat powerless, and also, frankly, somewhat impersonal to your fan base. And I think with systems like Audius, the goal here is to let people have analytics, have insights, have those direct relationships like emails or notifications if folks opt into that, and really just getting kind of the power back to the artists rather than sort of the middleman that could sit in the middle.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, neither would I. Yeah.
This also benefits potentially the labels. We've chatted with all the majors, Sony, Warner, Universal, you name it. And
Flowski, that question on DLive Discord about contracts for big streamers was pretty funny. I guess technically that used to be a thing. Not now, not anymore. I've asked that question many times. Like, what's and I had to be super careful when I asked it, but like, I wasn't saying it or I wasn't asking it for gives a minute. I wasn't doing it for a selfish need, but I was more saying, what's being done from DLive to retain streamers? Like, once a streamer comes here and sets up a community and then gets regular viewers on a regular basis coming back to the platform, there's an inherent value there. But DLive don't seem to see that, or they don't want to see it. And so when you have someone like Boomer Live who picks up and leaves because of whatever, isn't there ever a conversation about what can we do to ensure that you don't go? Because not only are you a great guy and a great streamer, but you've got a great community that the platform does require, right? Like, we need good crew, both streamers and communities. Yet they just walk away, and DLive just goes, "No worries, I'll open the door for you. Just leave your umbrella there, and you may come back later, right? See you later. Have a good time." It's like weird. It's really. I've asked it before back when we had calls and stuff, and I've just never understood why nobody. I don't think there is a retention team at DLive. Did my ear issue clear up? You know what? I went to bed that night and I woke up the next day, which was yesterday, and it's gone. Whatever that was, it didn't last long. So it must have been an air pressure thing. Someone said that in the chat. It's the change in pressure, the barometric pressure. Flosky, there's an impression there isn't really money to spare to pay streamers from DLive's dedicated budget. Without the crypto component, it wouldn't pay at all. Is that right? I don't know anything about that. I don't imagine they would have got PewDiePie for less than $1 million back in the day, so they blew it all there probably.
I think at the end of the day, what's pretty interesting here is over the last 12 to 18 months, the industry has seen that Web3 doesn't have to cannibalize the Web2 revenue. And what I mean by that is, I think people have seen with NFT issuance, it's not necessarily eating away from the Spotify streaming revenue. So there's a whole bunch of folks in the industry that are, willing to experiment with this a little bit more, because this NFT money and kind of these broader Web3 primitives have been pulling money out of places that folks previously weren't able to monetize. It's not like it's a zero-sum game where every dollar you get out of Web3 is a dollar less you get out of your Spotify streaming revenue.
Okay, that's an interesting take on it. I guess he knows more about that, being an industry guy. Flosky, I mean now, yeah, but once upon a time they had some kind of budget. If any streamer is paid directly, I'm unaware. Yeah, streamers, partners get a little kickback every now and then. Very, 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 very strange, this partner kickback. Nowhere does it mention it in the terms or in the contracts or anything. There's never a mention of it. And we haven't had one this year. It used to be every month. Was it every month? I don't know what it is. I don't know how much it is, but we just get this random lemons in our wallet. It's like, where did that come from? Oh, that's your partner bonus. It's like, what's that for again? Oh, streaming. Okay, thank you. I didn't know that happened. And yeah, it happens every now and then it doesn't happen. Like, it hasn't happened for ages. Hey, Dale in the house. How you doing, man? But yeah, as far as our streamers being paid, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Not only lack of retention, lack of genuine care about valid concerns, ignoring good suggestions, how many issues not handled properly. Nothing's being handled at all. That's not just good suggestions. It's just everything, period. It's not being handled.
And that's what's really exciting to a lot of folks, is there's all these Web3 primitives that you can enable and allow artists to purchase or opt into. Fans to purchase or opt into, which then can create new found revenue from an accounting perspective, not zero sum.
Yeah, so I think, as we see the evolution of especially how content is going to be shared in the future, whether it's from creators, the ability to potentially, build on a non-fungible token.
Flosky, Dale and I in the same chat, we're like two Sesame Street grouches. I'll convert to Elmo for a minute to even it out. Fleeksky, that's a good point, dude. Not trying to crap on anyone, but when political X-tag streamers have more viewers than GPs, then I can't see any contracts. A very good point. Very, very well said. Very well written. Nicely to get that into the small amount of text you had to put into a chat message, but I completely agree. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Aspect, especially around what we're seeing with Metaverse and the potential use cases of NFTs in general on an overall side of things. When you look at the creator side of the industry, and you look at what you guys are trying to do, from the retail front, because for the common person, they just see this maybe as an additional streaming service. Explain to me the economy in which creators can make money, investors can make money, and potentially how the user is involved into this ecosystem.
This is interesting because that's the question I've asked. The creator can't earn yet. GP is a joke, means nothing anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think how Audius fits into the existing ecosystem, to explain that, I always use a bit of a rough analogy. So if you think about video streaming services, I think at one end of the spectrum, you've got Netflix or Disney Plus, these high production value, very centralized services where nobody can upload, is done via studios. And then on the other end of that video streaming spectrum, you've got YouTube. Is UGC, anybody can upload. Some are big stars, some are nobodies, but it's kind of a little bit more of an equal playing field.
Right.
I think if you then apply that same spectrum to audio services or music services, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, those are clearly the Netflix equivalent, where not just anybody can upload, and it's very kind of walled garden.
That's not true. Anyone can upload to those services by using a distribution network.
If you look at the other end of that spectrum, there isn't a great solution for sort of the YouTube of music. Historically, that was SoundCloud. There's a variety of reasons why that unfortunately fell apart, but that traffic is down 90+%.
Wow, SoundCloud. I wouldn't mind looking into the death of that. Why did that die? Yo, Doc Holiday, how you doing, man? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Huge gap in the market, and artists themselves viscerally feel this. You talk to these folks that used to be power users or early adopters of the SoundClouds, the Bandcamps, the things like that, and they understand that it's now 10 to 20 times harder to build a fan base on something like a SoundCloud because SoundCloud's traffic is down 90 to 95%. And so they're desperate looking for an alternative. How do I build a fan base? How do I get started? And then how do I eventually, once I have a critical mass of a fan base, how do I monetize that in interesting ways?
So this is intriguing. His answer there was basically what I was told in the Discord many times when I've asked this. Why don't artists get monetized on Audius? The answer was build your community. Monetization, payback for playback will be coming. Maybe it is still coming. I mean, it's been a while. Dailsky, I must say, DLive having such amazing potential sure is a lesson in how not to run a platform. This is true. DLive this is a good case study, DLive. SoundCloud set a massive limits on their upload lengths and file sizes, killed it. Is that what happened? So you couldn't upload what? I mean, I'm uploading WAV files to Audius, like 44 kilohertz WAV files. So you couldn't do that on SoundCloud? I'm good. Good to see you. Good to have you. Good to have you, Doc Holiday. The only reason I brought up Artists and Cash is because it reminded me of PewDiePie's when he was here. Doubt he was paid with Lino only. No way he would have had a cash injection for sure. Hey, folks, I got to open my open this door here. It's a little warm back here. Just give me a second. Yeah, a little warm back here. Yeah, definitely PewDiePie would have been paid. He would have been paid in cash for sure.
And I think a lot of people in the industry have heard these horror stories of going through the traditional route, especially if the way that they would make money historically was via touring. Especially with the pandemic, all of a sudden these artists that were relying on playing shows,
that's a good point.
If that was their main way of actually monetizing and paying rent, that disappeared in the last 2 years. So there's a whole bunch of things that have come together that have made this ecosystem really ripe for innovation. And what's really cool is that again doesn't have to apply just to the up and coming folks or the long tail independent creators. It also applies for some of our top tier folks like Skrillex, Deadmau5, Diplo, all these kind of like top tier acts. Because what Spotify has on it at the end of the day tends to be a very highly curated sort of walled garden where maybe you have like your 4 or 5 albums that are there that everybody can listen to. But at the end of the day, you've probably made 2 or 3 or maybe 10 times that many songs. Just a lot of them didn't make the cut to actually wind up on the album. And so you talk to any artist and they've got hard drives full of tracks that never saw the light of day because it wasn't perhaps quite up to the brand or wasn't quite up to the caliber that the labels wanted on the album. There's a variety of reasons. And so these things just literally sit in the closet and never see the light of day. And so these artists are now putting that kind of stuff up on Audius. Or we have another example,
It's an interesting point. So what he was saying there, I guess, was that Spotify sort of sounds a little more like commercial radio. It just takes the big hit bangers and keeps rotating them at the top. And if you did cycle all the way through to the bottom, you could find the most lowly played tracks from artists. Is that what he's saying? Because they do exist up there, right? I didn't know that about Spotify. Dalesky, personally, I never got the whole PewDiePie hype. Overrated massively. Yeah, it's just a name, right? It's the name that brought in the kids. Yeah, Fleecy, right on. We aren't 13-year-old kids either. Flosky, I guess I can't say for sure, but about the SoundCloud limits, I got an email from them a while back about a change, but maybe they cancelled it. Yeah, okay, I don't know. The change is a limit of 15 tracks max. Not 100% sure if it went through. Yeah, okay. 15 tracks maximum for an artist on SoundCloud? What, in period? Like that's the only... Then you got to remove tracks and re-upload to keep the... So you can't just keep uploading your albums. Like I've got all of my albums on Audius. I couldn't do that on SoundCloud. Is that what you're saying? You can only do 15 tracks total? That seems weird.
No, some of these top tier folks, they will actually try to build these interactions with their fan base, and they'll post works in progress, like work in progress 1, work in progress 2, work in progress 3. Before that track gets locked in, work in progress 4, locked in, sent off to the DSPs, and then that's what the casual fan can listen to. Some percentage of your fan base, like your super fans, really care about tracking that progression of the song technically along the way.
That's intriguing. I did not know people were doing that. So what he just said, if you didn't quite catch it, he said that artists are putting up like demo takes, I guess, take one, first version, second versions, and then when they're fine tuning them, they're only sending the fine-tuned finished product out through, in my case, RootNote, the DSP, distribution service provider. I use RootNote, puts it out everywhere. He's saying that a lot of artists on Audius are putting all of their stuff on Audius, but that final polished turd, or that's in my case, the final polished mix is the one that goes out through the main channels. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, that's good. There are a lot of fans. I mean, thinking about Ween, the band, they've got a huge community of traders that trade with the band's support. They're often in the communities talking about the trading of bootlegs and demo cassettes and live recordings. So yeah, I can get with that. I didn't know that was what was going on Audius though. I'm not using Audius for that. I think is new kids never stayed and supported others. Yeah, those PewDiePie fans came and went just as quickly as he came. Yeah. So you need a pro account on SoundCloud. There's the Boognish. Thank you, Fleeksky. You love a little Boognish.
And so then now these artists are taking those works in progress and putting them up on Audius, and those super fans are flocking to Audius. And so that's kind of this interesting aspect where I think the way that we can approach monetization and help these artists make money isn't competing on necessarily the price per stream rate that Spotify does. I think, some percentage of your fan base, like the top 1% or top 5%, would gladly pay you a few bucks a month to get access to those exclusive tracks or those works in progress.
But currently that's not how it works on Audius. The fan doesn't pay anything to view your tracks, and you don't get anything when they do view them. Unless that's changed for top tier artists, like the top 5 or whatever. Go to the show, download a decent DAT recording the next day. Yeah, this is Ween. Yeah, Ween are huge with that.
So it's a very different monetization model.
Yeah, I see there
on or OnlyFans.
Yeah, I definitely see some more use case scenarios in terms of monetization for the creators themselves. Just some stats here for everybody tuning in. Audius currently 6.5 million active users on the platform, 250,000 artists, 1 million tracks. Currently, decentralized apps experience over 300,000 transactions a day resulting from play count. In terms of transactions and congestion and speed of transactions, what are you guys doing in terms of an infrastructure to maintain that ability to scale? Because as music gets rolling, the number of artists get going, you're going to see a lot more volume.
Absolutely. First off, kind of a disclaimer, this gets into sort of a religious war fairly quickly when you start talking about underlying blockchains. But I think how Audius has approached this historically is similar to the other parts of Audius, which is the blockchain and the crypto components are sort of a means to an end, right?
Sure.
I think that's an important aspect here. Like my parents still use AOL email, and they don't necessarily care if AOL is powered by MySQL or Postgres or whatever database they happen to be using. They just use AOL for email. I think that's frankly a lot of the world, especially a lot of kind of the casual music audience.
But not if he's going to say, because if you're going to transact, I think it's Ethereum. If you're going to transact on Ethereum, you're not going to withdraw one Audius token because it's going to cost you 12 of them to withdraw it. So I think I'm just jumping ahead because I'm trying to dissect what he's going to say or preempt what he's going to say.
And so to us, we view the blockchain and these crypto aspects as very, very important means to an end or pieces of the infrastructure that allow the user to get these cool features. And so, historically, we started off on Ethereum. We're now in the process of migrating certain components over to Solana over time.
Hey, did you hear that? Who told me about Solana before in the chat? Fleek, was that you, dude? Who told me about Solana up 100% in the next 12 months? Go back up. Who told me about that? Was it Lava Man? Was it Lava Man? I'm just looking through my chat to find out who that was. I could have just asked you. I did ask you. No one answered. Anyway, whoever told me about Solana, and it wasn't you, Fleek, okay, I think it might have been Lava Man. They said Solana up by 100% in the next 12 months. Now, I did not know that this Audius was migrating parts of the crypto assets, that side of it, to the Solana chain. Let's hear that again.
Historically, we started off on Ethereum. We're now in the process of migrating certain components over to Solana over time. That 300,000 transaction number that you quoted, that's actually just our play counts on Solana right now. We're in the process of moving much more significant pieces of the project over.
They should go to Pulse Chain. It's not here yet, though.
The token and kind of like the underlying architecture has been based on Ethereum, and like I said, is moving to Solana just to help handle the scale, frankly. And
not the fees.
It is an interesting sort of canary in the coal mine in a certain sense, right? We are in a fortunate position where we're much larger than almost any other Web3 consumer company out there. In fact, arguably we are with over 6 million users.
Just reading the white paper, was curious what the token was about. Yeah, well, it's how to. So the Audius token is to pay artists. So the equation or the transaction is you make music, you earn Audius. I still don't really know how Audius becomes valuable in terms of its utility, because typically, and I think it was Fleek, you said it before, artists got paid in cash because they need to pay rent and live, and that's how they earned the money, then they spent the money. If you're earning Audius, what gives it intrinsic value? If every artist is earning it, I guess that's probably the conundrum that they're facing. Like, they're not giving it to every artist at this point in time anyway, so there's almost like a scarcity to it. But you can just go and buy it. Like, if you're a whale, you can just go and buy your Audius token and then park it and wait, right? But I don't understand how it's going to increase in value if all it is payment for an artist. I guess what I'm saying, and I don't know if you're asking it as well, but what's the utility here aside from paying artists? Dalesky, Hex down to 75% from its all-time high. That's no dip. That's massive plunge. Could very well be junk soon. Hope I'm wrong on that. Let's not entertain Hex into this discussion as well. But I did see an all-time low of 10 cents. That's the lowest I've seen it. I'm buying more. If I had money, I'd be buying it. From what I'm reading, the biggest risk the site will have is DMCA copyright. But I don't think artists aren't uploading, like, aside from cover songs, artists aren't uploading, like, I'm not uploading fucking The World Has Changed and Left Me Here by Weezer and calling it a That's song. I'm not, like, I don't think people are doing that, are they? Who's going to issue a DMCA to an underground band that's not signed to a label?
And what that means is that we're encountering all sorts of fun scaling problems that a lot of folks haven't even hit yet. And that because at the end of the day, 95% of our users have no idea that crypto is involved. And so the
Yeah.
Audius mission has always been about being, we'd much rather be a small fish in the big pond of the music industry than a big fish in the relatively small pond of the crypto industry, right?
Fleeksky, that can happen on any site that lets anyone upload content. Yeah, but is that what people are doing? Like, I didn't think that artists were doing that. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you could release the entire. I mean, I just got the brand new. What's the band? I just got it yesterday. Damn it. I kept it. I mean, I'm in a PR email marathon with people, but anyway, I've got a music website. They sent me the latest album by X band, and I'm into X band. I can't recall what it was right now. I downloaded it from their media pool. Legitimate, right? This is nothing wrong with that. But then, are you saying people are potentially uploading that content to Audius and giving it a different file name, and then they're distributing pirated music? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Nothing against the site. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I didn't know people were doing that. I don't think that's a thing.
Right? Like, we're trying to go after this mainstream audience.
Yeah, okay.
And with that comes a lot of interesting challenges.
Well, and yeah, you're getting into those breakout phases that some projects really start to accelerate on into certain industry segments, whether it's music, entertainment. We'll see this in sports, fashion, etc. And I think that these are some really good challenges to overcome, because as we know, in the crypto space, a lot of blockchains are struggling with congestion issues, with data breaches, with potential scenarios of security. All those kind of things are, and these are the kind of the fixing, kind of like flying a plane and fixing it at the same time, is what it feels like with a lot of these blockchains. And as we see more and more of these projects really roll out, you guys have done, you've kind of started that process though to really kind of leverage out into more open space, one being the metaverse, so you've done some stuff over there. You've also done some stuff with TikTok. Explain to me how creators are going to benefit from use case in metaverse, and let's say, for instance, the partnership that you've done with TikTok.
Absolutely. So I think NFTs are a great example of one of the primitives that Web3 can enable. And that tends to be our narrative when we're talking to the artists, the labels, the managers, folks like that. It's like, look, frankly, NFTs are this wild thing that nobody really saw coming over the last 12 months. You guys have managed to make a lot of money from this. You guys don't entirely, in many cases, understand the implications of this. And I think the way we explain this to folks is that NFTs are one way that you can make money using Web3. And the goal of Audius is to be, at a high level, the way that you can make money with Web3. So I think NFTs are one component of what Audius will help these artists monetize. But the way we explain this is there's a lot of other things you can do in Web3, and it requires a lot of interesting and complicated tech. Work with Audius, and we'll help you kind of stay on that bandwagon and help you take advantage of each one of these interesting like primitives as they hit mainstream adoption.
So none of this involves playbacks, because an artist wants the music to be heard. They want their music to be in the ears of fans, and they want to be paid for that. And selling an NFT in the metaverse of a track, I guess that's one way of doing that. But then what happens to the songs that are listed in your Audius profile as well? I'm still a little kind of in the dark as to how this is. Well, it's the music isn't blockchain at the moment. Web3 is not even here yet. So I guess, are we looking at is this beta? Are we in beta for until Web3 gets fully deployed and mainstream user adoption happens, and then Audius says, oh, all of your songs are also in the metaverse. You want to mint NFTs off them, off you go. I mean, that would suck if they were still on Ethereum at that point.
And I mean, I think like as a good example, just even the TikTok partnership that you mentioned, what's interesting there is we were fortunate enough to launch this. I think it was in late August, and at the time, and it still may be the case, we were the only direct way
Hey, Charles.
that you could
Sup?
upload your songs. Like basically the only direct way to get your things into TikTok. You had to go through a distributor before that. And so what that did is it enabled artists all across the world to upload their content to Audius and then one click export to TikTok, which was wild. And I think that goes back to this broader philosophy we have of almost being sort of the hub and spoke of the artist fan relationship. And what I mean by that is a lot of streaming services didn't want to enable that sort of functionality because, if the listener or if the fan goes to TikTok, then we'll lose that person. Like, why would we want to direct traffic other places? But for us, we're completely okay with that. It's kind of a weird business model that a lot of folks in Web 2 land are having a hard time adapting to. But our whole thing is, like, at the end of the day, whatever benefits the artist benefits Audius, because we really want to drive adoption and fan base growth for these artists. And so we're completely fine. If it needs to go to TikTok to get you new fans, I think that's great. We don't have an issue with that.
I have a line.
I missed that TikTok integration. Where's? Hey, two messages. JY and one other reposted. Hey, you're reposting my playlist. Thank you, JY. Who's JY? I'm already following JY. JY, cool. What's this TikTok integration here? If I search for TikTok, I guess this is an artist search only, right? What's this one? Yeah, I didn't know about this, dude. What's this one click? Get it under TikTok as well. Settings is appearance, verified, notifications, account recovery, email, get our desktop app, change password. Don't know anything about that, to be honest. Artist dashboard. Total plays, all tracks. This year. Oh, you can't go all time. Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know about that. I still don't know about it. No share to TikTok. I thought there'd be like a post this content on TikTok by clicking this button. He just said that there was a one-click button. Maybe not. Interesting.
Up of questions here, just that I wanted to kind of rapid fire on you because there's just so many things that
hey,
are
Giggle
running
Pickles.
through my head of
Hello,
how
skis.
And what this use case could
Jesus.
look like in the future of music, especially as we see this as, multi-trillion-dollar industry. How much more money do artists stand to gain by switching into this ecosystem? How would that compare to others, or do you think this will be an augment onto their existing deals with many others?
So we really view this as growing the pie for everybody. And this goes back to this NFT point that I made earlier about the labels and artists are far more willing to experiment with this stuff because they've seen that adopting NFTs or being an early adopter of these Web3 pieces of tech, they haven't diminished the Spotify or the streaming revenue at all. Instead, it's just found revenue. It's just pure growth essentially. And so that's where it gets really interesting. Is that, like, from our perspective, we're trying to do whatever helps grow the pie for the most number of artists. And I don't think that us just tacking on kind of a competition or a competitive price per stream model to try to go after the Spotify revenue stream, I don't think that makes the most sense for us. And I certainly don't think it makes the most sense for a lot of artists. So the way that we, again, think about this is perhaps a little bit more of almost like a freemium model, something a little bit more resembling like a Patreon or an OnlyFans. So kind of attacking this monetization metric from a different angle. Yeah. And what's really wild here is, and what's really non-intuitive, is how many orders of magnitude difference there is between a value of a stream and the value of a like rabid or super fan. And so an example of this, we have a fairly well-known artist we work with who's upper middle tier. He does 2 to 3 million monthly streams on Spotify. He's not a nobody, but he's not selling out stadiums. 2 to 3 million monthly streams. After the label takes their cut, after Spotify takes their cut, he gets a check in the mail for about $2,000 to $3,000 for 2 to 3 million streams. So 2 or 3 grand. Not nothing, but probably less than a lot of folks would think. What's interesting is this artist has a very hacky, sort of cobbled together Patreon system that he set up where, if you pay for it via like PayPal, you can get access to these like Dropbox links. It's a very hacky system. And it's not what Patreon and these other things were set up for. But he's got a couple hundred fans on there that are true fans of his that want to get access to these works in progress and things like that. And these 200 people are paying $10 a month. So that's what's wild here is how the math works out. 200 super fans are giving him $2,000 a month compared to 2 or 3 million anonymous streams. So it's just wild that 200 super fans can monetize as well as 2 million anonymous streams.
Okay, that makes sense. When he illustrates it very clearly like that, I can see his point, and I can now. I'm less concerned that artists are not earning from playback on Audius. I'm less concerned. What he just said makes sense. And if that's what's coming in terms of Web 3.0 and an Audius refresh, which includes sort of like, like we said before, like a Twitter sort of feed or some kind of direct communication between artist and fan, and then sort of like extra monetization abilities like a Patreon or something, then I'm definitely all about that. And then the playback number just looks like a YouTube subscribe count, right? They're almost irrelevant. You can have, like I have 24,000 YouTube subscribers, and I'll do a live stream and I'll be lucky to get 15 people in there. So the number is almost irrelevant. I can he's talking me around. And
that's what blows people's mind.
Yeah, I think you hit on a point that I've talked about for many years around content density versus content in essence overlay. What we've seen in many of the spaces where volume in a lot of places may not necessarily equal profit. And what you're pointing to is if you can create a tribe of 1,000 and then or 10,000 if you're a super tribe. And if you get to really a super tribe, you're at 100,000. If you have those kinds of tribes that are really, really dedicated fans and or followers, that is kind of the future evolution of what I think content creation is really going to be. Meaning, you may see the masses out there kind of thumbing through streams and all of that, but the real money is being made over here at some point. And we see this on YouTube. It happens a lot with creators on YouTube. There is a point where a creator gets to the point where they've had so much direct communication with their audience that their revenue streams begin to shadow what's happening within their other core platforms. So those core platforms become more of a secondary release of content rather than the primary release of content.
It also, he's very right. And it also screams of the platforms are doing it wrong then. The platform's losing out because they're now second tier to something that's come up and taken that first tier away from them. Because before that, it used to all be playback, AdSense revenue on YouTube. How many views to get your playback, to get your monetization, to get those numbers, right? Now it's changing. Okay, all right. With that in mind, Flowski says, how does Audius then make their money? Good question. I don't know, dude. I'm going to assume the value of the token at a pinch.
In other words, premium product. So I'm kind of interested, do you see that as a potential, future scenario that could play out in the music industry?
No, I think you hit it exactly on the head, and that's how we think about it too. I think that is somewhat our thesis here, right? Is that over time, the value of a stream is going to zero. It's essentially being commodified, right? You think about how this has worked over the last 50 years.
Right.
You started with actual like pressed vinyl. You paid $20 to have access to those songs. Then it ended up being like a CD. Then it ended up being an iTunes per song, 99 cents. Then it's gone to Spotify now, where for $10 it's all you can eat. Like it's a pretty clear way that you can graph this out. Our personal opinions on this aside, you can just see that like the value of a listen has gone down, and it's going down fairly dramatically. So if you kind of think about that, extrapolate it out 10 or 20 years in the future, it's like, okay, well, how?
I disagree with that analogy, him saying go from vinyl to CD to an iTunes playback, because he's not factoring in the value of a listen, in the sense that not only were you able to go and buy the vinyl or the CD or the tape cassette of a song, but you could also hear it on the radio. So I just burped then. So as you were listening to music on the radio, that's the playback, right? That's the tokenized, monetized playback. And where was the money coming from? The record stations, the radio stations, paying the artists, the labels, to play their records. That money was going back through middlemen up the wazoo, finally trickling back to the artists. But as a consumer, you could buy the record or the cassette or the tape, and you could play it as many times as you wanted to. At that point, the value is almost, you can't compare owning a record and playing it 100 times in your youth to streaming that same song 100 times in a month on Spotify. That's not the same thing. The fact that you owned the record, that's the payment you've made to the artist by buying the record. The play count is completely irrelevant at that point. So I think he's kind of, I don't want to tell him how to do his job, but I think he's just kind of not equating them all equally. And to that note, I would also add that, interestingly, record or CD prices progressively went up for a strange amount of years. I recall, I mean, the way I justified this was I never smoked cigarettes, but when I was working my first ever job, whether I was getting a certain amount of income per week, $270 a week, which is pretty rad for a youngster just out of school, I would go and buy every week. I'd buy a CD, either a full-blown album, like a new release album from my favorite band, or a single from my favorite band. I've still got them, a whole bunch of them. I'll just grab a handful at random. I'll show you what I mean. Veruca Salt single, I would have bought that in this era. That's a Ben Folds 5 album, I would have bought that in this era. Scream Feeder, I would have bought this single EP. Sky Cruiser by Ween. That one's kind of more recent. UMI, Mr. Milk, Frank Black, The Cultivate. I used to go and do this every week, and my justification was, well, I don't smoke cigarettes, so if I was smoking cigarettes, like all the bogans I work with, they're spending $20 every couple of days on cigarettes, packet of cigarettes. I'm going to spend, this is what I'm getting to, I'm going to spend $36 is what it went up to at one point. A brand new, like a full-blown CD like this, a brand new release, $36 at one point. So what he didn't mention was that the price of CDs and records and cassettes went up, and then they dropped back off again because digital, but yeah.
How do you help these artists? Because if the value of a stream is going down, it's going to almost zero. How you got to figure out a way for these artists to make money to make the songs in the first place. And so I think that's why you see so many artists historically, like in the past 10 or 15 years, relying on festivals, right? Coachellas, the EDCs, and things like that, or just, Vegas clubs. Like, they make far more money in most cases on that than they do streaming these days. And so these artists are looking for any way to augment the revenue. And I think, be it 200 fans or 2,000 fans or 200,000 fans, if you build super fans, those folks would gladly pay you on the order of dollars, not tenths of a penny, to have that relationship. And
what if you're not a touring artist, though? He probably should have mentioned merch and stuff in there too.
And that's what's wild, right? Like 1,000 true fans will take you much further than 1 million fake fans.
Like, yeah. I'm a bedroom guy, right? I don't care for ever having a band play with me. I don't care for ever. Well, actually, that's not true. I would tour. The likelihood of that is like virtually non-existent. But what happens then?
No, we're seeing this. I mean, even with our own channel, we see this starting to evolve out into our own private member group, which is the Diamond Circle. And you can tell. I mean, the value propositions are greater. We lean in a bit more from a creator standpoint to provide more content, more attention to that area. And YouTube is one of those areas. It's not a bad thing. It's a great opportunity to kind of get your message out there and really kind of grow to the masses. But it's going to be an interesting landscape, I think, in the next decade around content creation and what that might look like. I want to talk to you on a couple of things here. What are you guys doing right now in terms of interfacing with projects within the metaverse? How do you see that playing out for Audius in the future?
Yeah. So what's wild about Audius is, like I said, everything behind the scenes is entirely decentralized, is entirely open source. And there's a dead simple API. It's just a standard kind of RESTful API that's been exposed where you can integrate the entire Audius catalog into your app, be it Web 2 or Web 3. So,
Okay.
ideally, we can become sort of like the jukebox for Web 3 or kind of
Sure.
the music catalog
Wow.
for Web 3.
That's
And
cool.
so we've got folks that are making games, that are making all sorts of different projects where, in the past it would have been some royalty free kind of like, crappy 15-second loop, but instead they can now plug in some top tier artist song because it's being consumed via the API. And so, we've worked with a whole bunch of
That's pretty cool.
Web 2 games. A handful of the games at the top of like the Steam catalog integrate the Audius catalog these days. And in Web 3, we've been working with folks, both ETH projects and Solana projects. We had like a FM radio tower that we launched with DeFi Land a couple weeks
Right.
ago. So now if you're in DeFi Land, you can basically stream the entire Audius catalog. It's over 500,000 tracks, soon to be 1 million tracks. And it spans the gamut in terms of genre.
So that means my material is in DeFi land, Decentraland. I don't know much about the metaverse, but my stuff is there now. That's intriguing.
API is exactly like the SoundCloud API or like the Spotify API. We've managed to, again, put in a lot of the work on our side so that the audience, be they fans, artists, or devs, can just use this like you would a normal product without having to jump through a bunch of hoops.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see a lot of growth in that sector, especially around music in general. I look at it from a streaming aspect. If you can start to plug and play into apps and/or platforms that are allowing that for use case of artist music. Also see potentials around the gaming sector, especially if this is an open API that could, for game developers, really start to import and/or utilize a lot of these libraries in terms of the game development itself.
Exactly.
Interesting aspect on that. Would an API interface to a game, say a game maker, a blockchain game maker? They're utilizing it, whether it's background music or it's some sort of interface where someone can actually engage with Audius within it. All those plays, all of those exchanges.
Flo, you just read my mind, dude. I was thinking exactly about that. But that doesn't mean someone can use Audius on their streams, right? I mean, by uploading your music to Audius, you're signing your rights and royalties away. No, you're not. You're definitely not signing your rights and royalties away. This is why I find this intriguing. Like I said, all of my music is already up on the internet in Web 2 through RootNote. So I've already got distribution, global distribution on any of the if you search that you'll find it. It's everywhere. And for good or bad, that is. What I found intriguing was when I uploaded my content to Audius, I was thinking that I would get a DMCA because so if you play my music on YouTube, I get notified. Why? Because YouTube is a distribution point that RootNote distributes to. And therefore, it goes through effectively the same copyright system that any commercial music goes through. So if you were to play Frank Black, if I was to put this album on right now and I'm still streaming on YouTube, hello YouTube, that would get dinged, right? Because this goes through the automated system that any other music goes through, including that material. So I thought when I uploaded it to Audius, I'd get the multiple notifications, here's another site using your music illegally. It's never happened. I've never had any notices about Audius at all. So I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't really care, to be honest. Like and if I did get a notification, I'd just whitelist it, but it hasn't happened. So I don't know. And to answer that question, yeah, I don't know. And this guy Forrest hasn't still answered how they make money as Audius, which is, I hope that question gets asked.
Are essentially transacting just as if it was like an RSS feed, filtering through the internet. So the artist is getting their share for all those types of distribution points. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yep. And that's what's been interesting, right? Is that like some people want to integrate the Audius API to consume that catalog, and then other folks have been using us as a place to host that their own content, so that they don't have to bundle it within their games. Like Star Atlas, for instance, has taken their tracks and uploaded it to Audius, and then within the Star Atlas game, they can just stream from Audius rather than having to bundle 10 or 20 MP3s into the like the service itself.
Very interesting stuff. All right, so good. So API integration with games, that's happening. Obviously, we saw the launch of kind of your presence within the metaverse. With the rest of the music industry, you see Sandbox, Warner Music also partnering here recently. What are your thoughts on traditional labels and also traditional music houses starting to move their way into, whether it's metaverse, NFT, and or what we will call Web3?
I think it's fantastic, right? I think that is a sign of the times in terms of the Web 2 world, or kind of the non-crypto native world, getting involved in Web 3 technologies. I mean, I can't overstate how excited we are for that, because at the end of the day, I think that drives mainstream adoption, right? And there's a massive pie here, and I think it's crazy for us, and this is something we always do, right? Is that like, it's crazy for us to look at like other Web3 projects, and always, people are cautious at times to be like, oh, what about this other Web3 project? What about this one? And like, at the end of the day, I think it's this thing going back to the small fish in the big pond. If you're not careful, you'll lose sight of like, Web3 has, like it or not, it has very small adoption in the world right now. It feels like it's picking up, and it is starting to J curve, but that time axis needs a little bit more time, right? Like, you need another year or two of that growth for this thing to actually start to cross that chasm, as you mentioned earlier. So it's like, I think from our perspective, whatever we can do to essentially throw money, throw bodies, throw time at this sort of space, I think net, that's how you end up having mainstream adoption. Like, a year and a half ago, when we started adding support for NFTs to Audius, they weren't mainstream at all. And so
where's the NFT support? He mustn't have rolled that out yet.
We had to be careful about how we built certain features. Like, we allowed you the ability to show your NFTs within Audius, but we had to be really careful and build a lot of technology to kind of hold your hand through that process, because so many people didn't know what an NFT was. What's nice is, like, now, I'm not saying that it's in any way mainstream in terms of like how to set up a wallet or anything like that, but far more people at least know what an NFT is, right? Like, you can talk to a normal person and say the word NFT and not have to explain what that is. Don't get me wrong, they might have their own opinions on, what an NFT is and the speculative nature, yada, yada. But like, at the very least, there is sort of like brand awareness of that term, which is super interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right. We are on a very interesting adoption curve right now that but I'm leaning in on where the adoption is going to take place. Obviously, we'll see it in the financial instruments around cryptocurrency in general, but I think we're also going to see it in the highly utilized aspects of Web 2, which is going to be things like music, content, gaming, those kind of things. The more complicated or more sophisticated use cases, I think those will definitely come as we see it start to develop. This happened, of course, on the internet as well. When we saw the evolution of what Napster was doing, it was one of the real first use cases where internet and web was really implicated as a potential huge growth curve. And of course, that launched the unbelievable explosion of MP3s and how music was being distributed. So I think this is that next phase for Web3, and you guys definitely are on to the right kind of place. So I want to jump to the scenario of and everybody hates this word, but censorship, and that is, we've already started to see a lot of this most recent news with Spotify, Joe Rogan, a lot of artists pulling their content off. Other artists saying, hey, we're not bothered by this at all. We like this kind of exposure. What are your thoughts? I mean, is there going to be a point at some case in where some artists is? How do you evolve in terms of censorship, and/or do you censor at all? When I say censor, just like a label saying.
It's going to be an interesting question, this, because Forrest has been saying how decentralized it all is. If it's decentralized, then it should be free from censorship, right? No one point can pull the pin. Well, that's if it's decentralized blockchain. If it's just decentralized but not on the chain, interesting.
Okay, that's an artist that's good enough to be on our network.
Right. This is a really, really difficult question, and one that we have spent just an insane amount of time kind of thinking about and trying to grapple the nuances of. When we started this project, 3-4 years ago, even back then, the goal of Audius was to appeal to sort of the mainstream audience, and I think a lot of our UI and our branding and things like that, having light mode be the default instead of dark mode, is like these small things that don't seem like a big deal, but they have kind of like aggregated together to make it seem like a normal consumer product that normal folks can use. And the reason why I bring that up is what we had looked to at the time was how video UGC services were working. And what was interesting is you had YouTube, which was kind of the mainstream option, and then you had Live Leaks. And Live Leaks was the dark mode. It was kind of sketchy. And frankly speaking, I will avoid clicking on a Live Links link if somebody texts it to me, because you immediately know, like, there's a reason why it's not on YouTube, right? Like it's on YouTube because, or it's not on YouTube because it's something dark or nefarious or just something you probably don't want to see. And so that's always been, the back of our mind when we're building a UGC music platform. You don't want to be the Live Leaks of music, right? You don't want to be the site that like stuff exists on because it can't exist elsewhere. You don't necessarily want to have the problem that Gab ran into, right? Where it's like a social network for people that can't exist on any other social network platform. So then what you end up having is, unfortunately, the exact same sort of like echo chamber conversations that people wanted to get rid of to begin with. And so anyway, there's a lot of interesting problems, right? Where if you censor people from one platform, then if they run to another, you don't want that platform to just be, you can't have it be a zero-sum game where the only people on that platform are the people that can't exist somewhere else.
Like the D-Live of streaming, Flosky. I wasn't going to say it.
If that makes sense. And so
now's a good time to say, coffee? Silence. Who did that? Giggle. Oh, goodness gracious me. Just get rid of this troll.
So, it's a really hard problem. And there's a lot of social aspects to this. There's a lot of community aspects to this. I think at the end of the day, Audius is all about artist empowerment and free speech, frankly, and letting individuals kind of control their own destiny. So anybody and everybody can make an account on Audius. In order to avoid sort of these things that are pretty obvious in terms of like bad behavior or things that you don't want happening on that platform, one of the things that we built into Audius early on was the way that we curate content. We rely heavily on a social graph. So when you sign up for Audius, the UI makes you follow a few artists, right? Like you've got to follow at least 3. So I don't know, let's say you're an electronic fan, you pick Deadmau5, Skrillex, Diplo, or something like that. Like the only things you'll see in your feed, think about the early days of Facebook or the early days of Instagram, the only things you'll see in your feed are the things that those people posted or reposted.
Sure.
So you're kind of getting this bought-in social graph.
That's awesome. I wish that was the case on YouTube today.
From day one. So even if that stuff is out there, the things you don't want to see, at the very least, it won't be bubbled up or exposed to you because you're relying on your social graph. So it's kind of it's a very difficult balancing act, but that's how we've threaded the needle so far, is having you rely on people you trust to curate the things you see.
Okay, so a few more questions in regards to kind of the...
So to sum that up, he said anyone's welcome to create a profile. You won't see completely strange stuff. You will only see what you follow. But he didn't really address censorship in that regard. Well, he did, but it's uncensored. Johnson, that guy doesn't read many books or have any interest represented on his empty shelves. I kind of like that they're empty. It's like they don't need to have the books up there. I was trying to work out what that thing up on the top is. The thing directly above his head. Is it like a router without any lights on? It's a book with another book on top of it. And by the way, that's not a Rocket 7. I thought they were Rocket 7s, KRK. It's a KRK Rocket, but it's not a 7. It looks like a smaller one. Mine, it could be an earlier 7. Mine looks a little more square. Anyway, Flowski, I had a hard time with the forced 3 follows. I'm like, who are all these people? I let them pick them. Yeah, I let them pick them for me. Strangely, you weren't one of the options, even though I just used your referral link. That's very strange, isn't it? Yeah, you think that would be first follow would be the one that referred you in. Yeah. Yeah, maybe this could be feedback back to Audius. Audius, if you're watching, if someone uses a referral link to sign up, maybe that should be one of the things that they follow as per the 3. You can call that the Flowski strategy because Flow thought of it.
Expansion of the platform itself. We've seen Spotify, obviously Apple, have made a real case around
Johnson?
podcasts. Podcasts have been
Jesus.
A big contention especially in the Web3 space. We've started to see some movement with some projects out there that are moving in this direction that are, a way to be able to reward and/or pay creators for their content. Any plans to go down the RSS route for podcasts or recreating how maybe Web3 podcasting should be done?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually already, to a certain extent, support that, which is what's really exciting. So one of the genres for a track when you upload it is podcast. And if you upload it...
That's cool. So I could add the audio from my streams there as a podcast. Imagine they brought video. Imagine Audius brought video in. Dude, that would be a new streaming platform. Crikey.
Tagged as a podcast, then within the music app itself, the UI looks a little bit different. So instead of next track or backtrack, it's actually the 15-second forward, backward sort of podcast controls. So we're definitely aware that podcasts right now are a massive growth industry in terms of the audio files out there, and we want to make sure that we support those. And there was actually somebody in the community that built a RSS importer. So it was called, I think it was audiuscast.com. And so it literally is a system.
Flo, do you know if they have a limit on how much content you can upload without having to upgrade your account? I don't think there is there's no account upgrades. It's just you're either on or you're not on the account. It's no upgrades. So like, hey, there's a notification. Hey, Banexter, follow like my playlist. Thank you, Banexter. I'll give you a little follow skis. Thank you very much for that. I mean, you're seeing this in real time, folks. I'm getting notifications as they come through. Yeah, there's no your account's your account. There's no limits, hey. What about if we just click the Audius tab and open that up? Just goes to the feed. Yeah. Yeah. I believe there are no limits, dude.
Where you can take your RSS feed, sign into your Audius account, and then it will auto import new RSS files, like MP3s that come via the RSS feed, and then auto upload it to your Audius account. Yeah.
Yeah. What a great, we should do that. We have 2 great podcasts that need to be on Audius. I love it.
Happy to help.
And well, I've definitely got a
Flo, I mean, if it has to cost them money to host all that audio. That's why SoundCloud charges. So I'm not still. Yeah, dude. Yeah, good questions, man. I don't know, man.
Hook you up with. You're in Austin, right?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Down
so
here in Austin, Texas.
I got to hook you up with a guy. We'll talk after the show. I think you guys should probably connect in terms of the podcast area where this could go, because there's a lot happening in that space, and I think it would open up to obviously to even a greater number of creators, especially around just getting thought out there in terms of content overall. All right, a couple more things.
Fallen Angel, how you doing, Fallen Angel? Good to see you. Hello, skis.
I want to hit on, and that is metaverse concerts. We're going to start to see more and more of this. How would this play into not only the partnerships and deals that you've done with artists, but how would this maybe play into Audius itself in terms of a strategy inside the metaverse for music?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're working with a few of these metaverse projects out there that are thinking about or working on integrating the Audius API, so that if an artist wants to play a show in the metaverse, they can just in this little UI that they build, select from all their Audius songs to click and then stream it out to their fans in the metaverse. It's something we're looking at pretty closely as well. I think it's a super interesting kind of trend. And I think it's a great example of another one of these Web3 building blocks, similar to NFTs, that as part of our sales pitch when we're talking to labels or artists, like, hey, work with us and we'll help you monetize and all these new interesting things that are coming about.
So that kind of concept, just to cut him off or cut in there, that kind of concept of a metaverse live show where you stream out a certain amount of content, perhaps you could upload a bunch of hidden tracks and then stream those ones out. Is that reliant, and I guess I'm asking a rhetorical question because I'm not interviewing him, we're watching a pre-recorded interview, but a question I would have asked would have been, is that then off-site? Like, do you have to go into a game that's using the API and pulling that into their own metaverse? Or will there be an Audius metaverse where you can go in and it brings up this world and you've got half of your followers are already over there existing in that world, and you can schedule this to say, okay, on Saturday at 7 p.m. we're kicking off the show. Get your seats ready, get your freaking pencils ready, and shush kind of thing, right? Like, yeah. Or would it be, well, if you want to see the Gibson, if you want to see that's live show, you've got to go and sign up to, what's a game? Fortnite. I'm not a gamer. Forgive me. You got to go and sign up to Decentraland. You got to go and get a profile over there because we're doing it on 7th Avenue in Decentraland in the Valley. I don't really know how that plays out, but
every 6 months or whatever.
How do you see, all right, so we're seeing a lot of the use cases for NFTs becoming a lot more utilitarian, scenarios where you're seeing in real life experiences start to attach to electronic or to the NFT side of things from a smart contract component. Gary Vee has been able to do that with VeeFriends, tying in real life. I could see this in the entertainment industry as well, of tying in real use case or utility to artists and themselves. What about artist tokens? How do you see that playing into this? Do you guys have any plans in that direction?
Artist tokens. Flowski, it doesn't seem like it would be legal to stream other artists' audio unless you have to give all your uploads a free distribution license. Are you saying then if it was in a game, like if we had to go to Decentraland to watch the show, then the risk is that the people that come to the show could also be live streamers and they would be streaming that gameplay? Fair point. It's a fair point, but it's also a confusion. That's a point of confusion because Web3, if I understand correctly, Web3 is almost going to all be live, right? Like it's all live streamed. You're essentially always live in the metaverse. Now, whether that drops back into Web 2.0 and then you pump that through an RTMP into a live streaming ingest, say on DLive, then I think that's a bit of a, right? It's still such a confusion. It's still a real confusing thing to fully grasp. The Internet of Things, the always on internet, the always broadcasting kind of. I mean, hell, I'm still broadcasting on a 4G internet connection, so we got a long ways to go back down under here in Australia. But good point, Flo. You're asking the questions I don't have the answers to. That's for certain. I mean, for example, have Audius playing in the background as audio for your live stream, be it gaming, whatever. Yeah. I see. I get exactly what you're saying. Unless they extract the monthly fee to be able to stream their content and pass that on to the creators. Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's It's an arm scratcher and a head scratcher. Zuckerberg should just buy all the catalogs and let people demons, avatars, and boat rips away and play them wherever they may fit. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. So with regards to the real life aspect of this, I mean, I think that's what's super exciting. As COVID kind of winds down and the world comes back to life and artists start touring, that's naturally where folks start to think. It's like, okay, well, I did this whole virtual thing for a year and a half or 2 years during COVID. Now, how do I don't want to abandon that, but I also want to get back to my shows. And so I think there's a lot of very interesting things that I think will happen here. To even kind of exemplify that, within the Audius UI, within the Audius app, I mentioned earlier that we added the ability to support NFTs, where an artist could show off their NFTs on their profile page. But that tab, we actually didn't call it NFTs. That tab we called collectibles. And the reason why we made that distinction is I think the joke we've made is that collectibles are what NFTs aspire to be when they grow up, right? I think collectibles is potentially a better mental model for what these things can be. At the end of the day, they are digital collectibles. And similar to how digital collectibles, collectibles in the real world that enable you to have access to events. Think like an actual concert ticket. That is a real world collectible, if you will. Like, I think there's pretty obvious things that, right now are physical that in the future can and probably will be digital. And I think NFTs as static JPEGs is just the beginning of where digital collectibles probably goes in a few years.
All right, so you see this as a good potential for future use case scenarios for artists to kind of create their whole brand experience around the idea of Web3, everything from content consumption to branding, ecosystem, distribution, licensing, all those kind of things. It really kind of puts the power in the hands of the artist. This is going to be interesting to really see this forecasted into the future, because I think with blockchain and the direct connection to what we now know, especially from the user aspect of being able to be directly connected to the greatest artists out there, is the one that you follow the most. The opportunity here is going to be very interesting to kind of see this grow in the.
It's still in its infancy, isn't it? That's what I'm understanding. I'm doing well, Gibbs, and you? Yeah, I'm doing well too, Davo. Thanks for asking, man. Doing well.
Future for sure. Anything that you're tracking right now that you really are kind of leaning in on for the future of audio as we see this moving on for Audius?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's all about interoperability, and especially as we move into Solana, making the whole system sort of compatible and easy for other Web3 projects to consume. And I think, essentially the number of synergies here are essentially infinite. And I think by kind of taking advantage of that and helping do as much cross collaboration as possible, I think that's how we help sort of cross pollinate each other's mainstream audiences. And like I mentioned earlier, the Audius sort of hub and spoke model, from our perspective, we love it when Audius users go use other Web3 products. And we've got 6 million normal mainstream folks just waiting and ready to be onboarded into your Web3 experience. And so I think there's a really cool way in the future where, I'm just coming up with one example off the top of my head. It could be if you're part of the, let's call it deadmau5 fan club, for instance, let's say as part of that, a couple $1 a month sort of Patreon system, let's say you get issued a commemorative NFT every month or something like that. Wouldn't it be cool if some sort of deadmau5 wannabe could say that if your account has turned on the deadmau5 NFT, then you get free access to my VIP community, or something like that, right? There's a pretty easy way where you can have these building blocks where it's all open source. And I think if the UI is exposed in a way where it's not crazy confusing, which is a big caveat, but I think if it's done correctly, there's a really cool way where these different websites could actually turn on different functionality based upon the status of their account on a different service.
That's very cool. I like that. definitely a good one. I think this is one of those categories that we're going to continue to watch very closely as we see a lot of potential movement here in the future, especially around Audius. So Forrest, thank you so much for stopping in on the podcast today, and great to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been
Notable on this entire podcast, I thought, given that we're considering audio, Forrest Browning, the co-founder and CPO of Audius, did not have a microphone. And so when sometimes, it wasn't that bad, but sometimes the host would cancel out by speaking over him. He just had the room audio, right? Bit of a shame.
Excellent. All right, so you guys maybe are listening over to the podcast right now. And of course, if you're on Spotify, grab us some stars. It makes me think maybe we need to get this onto Audius, and what a no-brainer that would be. But anyway, the number one place that you're going to find all this kind of content and a lot more deep dives on our analysis, the projects, our top 20, along with our crypto power index, is right here on YouTube. Of course, if you want to reach me, it's out on Twitter. It's at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.
There you go, folks. That's the channel. If you want to go and give them some love, TechPath is the channel. I'll put it in the chat here for you. What we were discussing there, folks, was Audius. Now let me show you my Audius again, just so that you guys can see here. And let me also give you this link one more time. If you want to sign up to Audius right now, I've got two more invites. You'll receive free audio token to the tune of one of them if you use my referral link that I've just popped in the chat right now. If you sign up to Audius on that referral link, you will get one Audius token for free. What's Audius? If you just joined us, it's this streaming platform for music. This is what you'll come into when you see my profile. You can go and have a look at my albums here. You can choose albums. You can scroll through the albums I've uploaded. This is all my music, a couple of covers in there as well. Funny shits and giggles if you want to have a listen to me covering the entire Make It Big album by Wham. That's what you've got right here. If you want to hear me doing Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. My favorites on this was Credit Card Baby and Freedom. Anyway, you guys can go and have a look at that using my sign up. And when you're there, you'll be able to go and discover new music, such as DMVU, Destructo, Anish Kumar. I've also got a playlist on my That's page here. If you can click on the playlist, you'll see I found these musics to be quite good. This is the playlist. We've got 2 songs on there right now. An artist called Hello PJ and Kali Dojo. So you might want to go over and give them a follow as well, like I've done. Tell them where you're coming from, although you can't do that on the old Audius yet. But yeah, very intriguing. We're at a position right now. We're at an interesting position in life where, you know, everything's moving towards Web 3.0, and how that rolls out, how that actually looks, is anyone's guess. My initial take on Audius was that I'm going to get on there, and I've been there for about a year now, close to a year. My initial take on it was, why don't we get payback for playback? But the more I think about it, and the more we see this kind of conversation that the Forrest Browning had, it does seem that there are better things. I can't believe I'm going to say this. There are good things coming, right? There are other things coming. And maybe playback for payback or payback for playback isn't quite the best way to approach it. So yeah, maybe I've got to reevaluate, but at least I'm on there and I've been there doing my thing. You might want to go over there and start listening to music and start earning crypto in the form of Audius. That would be fantastic. I also, before we leave here, I want to thank you all for being here with me. Cryptocurrency streams are quite in depth. They're quite of a kind of a mind trip. I find myself really getting very focused in it. I know there's other things that you guys wanted to chat about in the chat. I purposely didn't address any of that. If you want to talk about that, we can do it another time. Flowski, thank you for the diamond, for the ice cream, my friend. Mayonnaise, wow! I want to also thank, on that note, the financial contributions to this very stream. When you take your eyeballs and you point them at the chit chat like this, you can see Blobberbob, Rich Santic, and the coin captain CC right there, folks. Top 3: Blobberbob, Richard, and CC. Thanks for the contributions you've made on this very stream. Much appreciation. I'm out of here. I'll see you yahoos tomorrow for a stream when we're going to talk about the Apple event. The new Apple, the Apple's Mac Studio. What? Not that I'm going to buy one, but crikey, that thing looks pretty rad. See you then. Yeah, get out of here. Go on. Get him out of here.